Welcome, and
Welcome, everybody.
to the DNA Sportscast. I'm your host, Aiden.
And I'm Daniel. How's it going?
How's it going?
Nice to see everyone again.
Yeah.
I want to get straight into Spurs, mate. I want to talk
Yeah.
about Antonio Conte.
We're gonna dig in there.
I want to get right into it, mate.
Yeah.
Because this guy is just he's very questionable, isn't he? When he comes to new clubs, and you're just thinking like, what's he gonna get out of there? I mean, you know all about Antonio Conte being a Chelsea supporter,
I mean,
but
at
what's
least
your
he
take on the whole situation?
At least he left us with a trophy.
Yeah,
Two actually.
Two FA Cup, Premier League.
Yep,
right? Yeah,
correct.
so honestly, yeah, I don't know. Look, no surprises leaving Spurs with no trophy. Fair enough. Like,
You can't blame any manager for that.
not really going against the grain of things that happened there, but yeah, you can't really.
No, not at all.
Look, let's play the blame game at the moment. Now, who do we think it's? What do we think? Is it more Conte? Is it more Tottenham?
I think it's a mixture. Like Tottenham, they're just serial bottle jobs, honestly. But at the same time, you can't say that it's on Daniel Levy that they blew a 3-1 lead to Southampton and stuff like that, you know? Like, whose fault is that? That's the players, that's the manager. That's not... You can't come and blame Daniel Levy for that. You've got your backing, you got... I don't know, you got... Who did he bring with him from Juventus? They went and got Bentancur, Kulusevski. Not that Conte was there at that time. But he's got backing. They got Pedro Porro. He's good. They got like players like Lenglet.
Yeah,
like that's a dodgy one. But I think Conte wanted him.
He wanted him, but he knew that Lenglet was a fringe player at Barcelona at that point because he wasn't playing well. He wasn't playing well at all, and took a chance on him. Now, if we look at Conte and his teams previously, they've just been seasoned with unbelievable centre backs and defenders, and I think that's what the foundation of his game comes from, is having that strong back line, and he just didn't have it at Spurs, I don't think, mate. You've got especially, and then you've also got your midfielders who cannot help out either, like, because at the end of the day, like you just mentioned, Dyer. I mean, like he was pretty strong in that midfield for a time being there at Tottenham, but I don't think he's really proven himself proper at all. I mean, for England, he plays well, sure, score some penalties there, but him now being converted to a sole centre back now, or under Conte, really showed their desperation, I think, and why they were never a good fit. I don't think.
No.
We always thought, I thought Conte may have been able to work his magic. If I'm honest with you, I thought before really taking a deep dive into what makes Conte successful, I just thought maybe with his eagerness and his passion, that he was able to pull through for Tottenham, and unfortunately, the players that he had just didn't respond to him too well.
Yeah, I thought having Conte was going to be Tottenham's best chance at getting a trophy in a very long time.
They all thought that, man.
But
100%.
I really thought if it was ever going to happen, it was going to be with Conte. But it's just the players just aren't it. Well, I don't know what it is. Like, they got him Perisic, but even that didn't work. It's tough to pinpoint, but I'd have to put it down to the club not, getting the right players in. Like, what really should have happened was they should have cashed in on Harry Kane a few seasons ago and spent that money and spread it around the squad. Get a good defender and get a good winger in. I don't know.
But that's the problem with Tottenham, though. I think they ask a little too much in regards to in terms of like the value they place on Harry Kane. Previously they've asked for ridiculous amounts. In terms of them being entertained, like they're like, we'll only listen if it's over 120 mil. Look, at the time, it probably would have been worth it for whichever club that was interested. But when you have a team that wasn't really well balanced, let's be honest. No. Spurs haven't been too well balanced ever since Kane has emerged. You think that's your cash cow. Like, okay, we're pretty heavy in the front line. They brought in Heung-min Son, so it's like you had the player to sort of to give that responsibility to and move on Kane, but they never cashed in. They could have easily have spent on. Perisic is a great player, great two-way player, but he would have been good for depth sure, but as a starting player, no. Sessegnon
Yeah.
would have been great if he played more in that position. But yeah, obviously Perisic took that spot, and Emerson Royal has just been extremely underwhelming and has not lived up to his hype at all. So
No.
gone are the days for Conte with Lichtsteiner and Grosso and his teams. And here are the days, or he just officially said goodbye with who's in there? Who's in their midfield? I think it's what's her name? I cannot skip. I was going to say
Skip.
I don't know. I've had a bit of a dyslexic moment there.
Bentancur, Højbjerg.
Bentancur, it was Bentancur. He's a
good.
great player. But like we've mentioned in the episodes previous, he wasn't. When he plays, they do well, but sometimes he's just not like what I'm trying to say in essence is like they just don't have the players that can play week by week. They don't really have a couple of those players. Should have cashed in on them. They didn't. Now they're suffering the consequences.
Yeah, that's what Conte he likes. He likes his experienced players. That might have worked in Italy, where the Italian game Serie A, it's a lot slower. It's more about reading the game and breaking teams down, whereas the Premier League's a lot more fast-paced. You need to be quick. You need to be on your toes 24/7. It worked with Chelsea for a year. You had he did it with Marcus Alonso and Victor Moses. That was great. I don't know how, but it worked. But now it just seems that his tactics, his style of playing has been figured out. They figured it out, and
yes and
Tottenham's
no.
not good enough to really. The players aren't really good enough to implement that style and win, right?
Because
they've relied going back to the management and the ownership. They've been relying too long on Harry Kane, right? Where I know I talked about they should have cashed him in. They did that with Bale. They reinvested it well. Eriksen was really good. Lamella never quite lived up to it. They had some good players. Their team that made it to the Champions League final, that was probably the most well-balanced it's been in, that team has been in a very, very long time. But now it's time to cash in again and try it over.
But like we mentioned before about consistency, that team was only good. Well, that team under Poch, was only good for that season, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
they overperformed.
You had players like Lucas Moura who just played out of his skin. Coming off the bench, making those unforgettable, moments happen in terms of like the wins against Ajax and it just seemed to be going this direction for so long now. Like after that final, you just saw it. Poch leaving, and then bringing in Conte, and then you're just hoping that Spurs would be able to back him financially. But what I was going to mention was, I think he was a lot more better suited for Chelsea. Like in terms of spending, Chelsea were a lot more willing to spend. But in saying that, I don't think we can say just because of the spending power, he struggled, because he made Victor Moses into one of the best wing backs in the comp that season. So, I mean, Victor Moses from Wigan all those years ago, starting up striker. As a defender, and he did an unbelievable job his coaching staff did an unbelievable job in converting him. So I think Conte still has that in his locker to really inspire players as well, like the existing players. And that's what I'm saying. The Spurs players now, I just don't think they have it. They're in top four at the moment, sure. They've still got a couple of games. They've got a couple of games ahead of everybody. So we'll soon see them drop a couple more places.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop out of top four, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they stay there, because who's really challenging for that fourth spot? Newcastle?
At the end of the day, I think there's still teams that are willing to sort of sneak into that top four spot. There are only a couple of points. Like Newcastle, Liverpool is still in contention.
Yeah.
Brighton are still pushing. Brighton actually have a game in hand on Liverpool, and they're on the same point. So it's anyone's. It's anyone's at the moment. I think not when I say anyone's, it's any of those three teams that can take Tottenham's spot. But you're right though, Tottenham. Yeah,
They seem to always just be there,
they've
but
got
never
a little bit
push
of
higher.
they've got a little bit of a cushion, but I think they're gonna drop out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, now that their new manager, the caretaker manager, Stellini, is taking over.
Yeah.
It seems like this year so far, whenever he's in charge, or not in charge, but whenever he's on the touchline instead of Conte, when Conte's either got a ban or is ill or whatever's going on, it seems that they play a little bit better.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if maybe Conte wasn't getting along with some of the players.
That's what I mean in terms of the
I don't know.
response. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I get ya.
you never know. Maybe they could turn it around and hold that fourth spot.
I don't look. Nah, I don't look. I don't put any faith in Tottenham anymore.
They could.
Man.
I mean, they're only 1
No.
point behind you.
Don't-
You got 2 games in hand though, so
So that could potentially be 7 points.
yeah.
There'll be 7 points behind
we'll
us.
see.
Look, we've got big games coming up.
What's their
but
next? Their
look,
Tottenham's next game.
So yeah,
Everton, away at Everton.
look, man. All season, or the last half of the season, we've been talking about new manager bounce and
It's not a new manager bounce though. It's just the caretaker. He's basically been there. He's been there all year.
yeah.
He's just caretaker.
But the whole, yeah, I get that, but the whole regime, like it's a different regime now. It'll be similar, but
yeah, I get you.
like the players know now. Conte's gone. He's
Maybe
not coming back. It's done.
half
you know,
half
so
a manager
It'll
bounce.
change a lot. It'll change a lot.
Half a manager bounce. They'll play really well for one half.
All right, let's just say the next game that they come and the next team that's fielded after the game that the previous manager's been sacked, they genuinely seem to be winning it this season or doing better, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
So,
Unless you're Southampton.
yes, exactly. Yeah, true. Good point. But I just wanted to I just don't see where Tottenham didn't see this coming. It's just like
I
he's
don't know.
like I said, like he's averaged tenures at a club since Juventus, and including his time in the Italian national squad is 1.22 years. So, it just a little over a season, and it's just they should have heavily invested to start with, and they never did. So there they brought in a couple of, your Kulusevskis and Perisic's and whatnot, but it was never enough. They needed a centre back. They needed someone. Look, Dyer's a passing centre back. I get that, but he's just not a world class defender. He's just not.
No.
And they're still relying on the likes of like Romero.
Romero's a very good
was
player.
a fringe player before the World Cup, and now, he'd be starting for Tottenham ever since because of his tournament. So. Yeah, he could have been playing every now and then for him, but he definitely wasn't in there. So that's what I mean. Like you've got these in FIFA's senses, like in a FIFA sense, they've got all these under 80 overall players, playing in their defense in the Premier League. It's not good enough, man. So I just thought I'd just try and
make a quick analogy there.
Yeah, nice analogy there. But look, I just would like to see where he's off to next, and I really think as long as he goes to a club that trusts him in his decisions and his staffing decisions, they'll do very well because you see at Inter, Chelsea, and Juventus, he's won in the first seasons as manager. So
maybe that's
not
what Tottenham
Inter.
thought.
Wait, Inter, was he only there a season? I think No.
It was there for a season or two, but he won it in his first year.
But so it's
And
just
that ended the Juventus.
do the math, bro. Mourinho had a
dominance.
very similar. Mourinho had a very, very similar record as well as start of his managerial career, where he would go, Chelsea. Did he win the league at Real the first season? I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure.
But then goes back to Chelsea, does it again. Did come second with us, his greatest achievement. But all I'm saying is, cash in now, man. Like, far out these managers, like. If I was, I don't know, man. If I was, man,
Daniel
honestly,
Levy.
if I was Bayern Munich, man, I would have reversed my decision and brought in Conte, mate, because I get it. Tuchel's really good, but I mean, Conte and Bayern would be an unbelievable match in heaven, I think, man. Because look, I get it. They didn't have a striker right at the moment.
Yeah.
But I feel like he would have been great there. I feel.
Well, I was actually just going to bring up Big Tommy Tuchel, Tommy T.
Yeah, go for it.
At Bayern Munich.
Go for it.
I think that's an incredible appointment.
Yeah, oh no, for sure.
I think Tuchel's like arguably one of the best managers in the world at the moment. I was fuming when we got rid of him. Obviously, it wasn't performance based. He wasn't getting along with the new ownership. So
that's a shame, bro.
Yeah, because he's so good.
It's such a shame, but yeah, very emotional. It was an emotional.
Quick reminder.
Saga. Yeah, what?
Chelsea played Tottenham at the start of this year.
Yeah.
You remember when that happened? And Thomas Tuchel and Antonio Conte were up and down the touchline throwing fists. That was this season.
Was that first game?
Second game, I want to say.
Oh, second, yeah. But still, it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, what? It feels like it was 3 seasons ago now.
Yeah, I know.
Like, straight up. I remember after the World Cup, it was straight back into the Premier League, and that shit, it was just kicking off, and you're like, what is going on, bro?
Yeah,
what is happening?
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, that was quite a fun time, that one, and now I think everything's evened out. I think everything is sort of, I'm not going to say back to how it was, but Tottenham, trophyless still. Chelsea, still jumping around managers. But ownership now, so different ownership too now. So
see how they go with Potter.
Yeah.
I just want to ask, what do you reckon of Tuchel at Bayern? Do you reckon he'll do well?
Yeah, no, of course, man, 100%. I think they're in a similar position as to what Chelsea were in, where they were not struggling. Well, in their terms, they are struggling in the league at the moment, because they're not 40 points clear. So
yeah.
they're not like comfortably ahead. They're literally just
second.
They're second with one point behind
Dortmund. The next game is, we talked about this last episode. The next game is against Dortmund.
So yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of Champions League too, they're running the Champions League. They've still got a chance to progress through. So I think Tuchel will know what's coming up next.
Yeah, he's experienced enough. He knows what he's doing.
Look, it could have been a fluke. It could have been a fluke. The Chelsea win for him.
No.
Because hang on 1 second. He was at PSG for how long and did nothing? Yeah, Champions League did fuck all.
PSG is
the best team in the world. PSG had, with the exception of Real Madrid, the best team in the world and did nothing with it. Goes to Chelsea.
He lost
with Lampard's team. Does well. Look, the more and more time goes on, the more and more I'm thinking maybe Lamps, should deserve more credit for it. But let's see what he does at Bayern.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
Well, if Bayern Munich beat Manchester City and Chelsea beat Real Madrid, Bayern Munich versus Chelsea. Imagine that.
Come on,
it's not gonna happen. I know Real Madrid's probably gonna win, but it would be cool. It would be cool for the storyline. Yeah,
it'd be huge. Yeah. Like I'd love that matchup. That'd be awesome. Like imagine Stamford Bridge, Tuchel walking out from that tunnel. I think the fans would like. I think they'd love him. I don't think he'd cop it.
No,
I don't think he'll cop it at all. I think it'll just be a lot of animosity on the touchline from Tuchel, like animated usually gets.
He does.
Even with his like broken leg, he was still bloody hobbling around, going nuts on the sideline for PSG at that point. And I think that's near where he got sacked too. But anyway, he's a very passionate bloke. I think he fits in the Bayern identity. Very well.
German coach.
I think Conte would have been great there, but obviously,
I think Tuchel just slots in. It's easy. And his first game's against his former club, Dortmund.
Yeah, was he assistant under Klopp? Once upon a time.
I want to say possibly.
There's some relation there.
I think they might have both. Later, but I think they might have both started at managing Mainz.
Yes, I was thinking
something like
that.
A
black and white team with it was Mainz. It was Mainz for sure.
I'm pretty sure.
So anyway, they coached. I think it was under Klopp or whatever. So
yeah. Also, Tuchel's gonna have Choupo-Moting up top, who he also had at PSG.
Man. It's just funny how life works. It's a big old circle, but well, he'll know that obviously his method didn't really work at PSG. He'll know he'll need another striker. Yeah. He'll know that Choupo-Moting's good for the time being.
Well, will he need another striker, or will he need a fill-in like Havertz?
No,
he scored the goal.
Yeah, sure, but it's just like I think
I think
the
Bayern Munich's a good chance for the Champions League this year.
Absolutely they are. Absolutely they are. But it's just
The harder games will come now.
I think it's important that, like I said, their front line just stay fit. I think if Koeman goes injured, they're gonna have big troubles. Gnabry, I'm not sure about his form at the moment. Because like I said, Bayern Munich haven't really been the team to watch. But we'll just see in terms of that. But look, they've still got Sadio Mane in there. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
So
true.
The last game they lined up Leverkusen in a loss, which ultimately saw Nagelsmann basically get replaced. You had Muller and Mane up front. I think Muller will probably be starting in the middle under Tuchel. I think in that case.
Yeah.
And
could be.
And with I think Mane on the left wing and then Sané on the right, something like that, man.
Something like that.
I think, but I don't know Sané's position. I don't know what Sané's position has been, but he can definitely play on the wing. So I think that's probably his best front three for sure. For sure.
You forget you forget the wingers they have.
Yeah, Koeman just he might be injured.
Mane,
Gnabry's just kicking on the bench. Probably hasn't had the season. Musiala, far out, man. Like this team's good. This line very good. Very good. It's just
very good.
It's just a matter of getting the right team on there, and I honestly think that consists of Mane, Sané, and Muller starting,
Muller,
and Daley Blind's just kicking on the bench too.
Yeah,
so I think he'll be utilised, but it's just it's like where because they actually look really good, man. Like Pavard maybe comes out of there, but you got Davies, Cancelo, De Ligt, Upamecano. It's just it's a decent backline. It's just I think their firepower just hasn't been as great this season.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to say Bayern Munich. I was watching the Bayern Munich versus PSG game in the round of 16.
Yeah.
I don't watch a hell of a lot of the Bundesliga, I'll be honest. But I watched that game and Joshua Kimmich was absolutely running the show.
Rinsing people.
It was honestly
rinsing.
He was dictating the entire thing.
He's different. He's different gravy, that guy. Kimmich he's been around for so long now. He can play in so many different positions. He understands the game so well.
Yeah, he does. It was actually not. I didn't realize how good he was until I watched that game, because I don't watch a hell of a lot of Bundesliga or Liga and stuff, but I do watch Champions League games and game here and there, and he stood out to me.
Yeah, you always see. Yeah. No, it's always nice to just see players, perform at their best, and especially on such a big stage too, man. Like, imagine it's one thing how knowing you possess the quality, but it's another thing actually translating onto the pitch. Like, it's just we can talk. I can talk as much shit about like I was talking about with Spurs before, Eric Dyers and Romero's, but at the end of the day, if you're not conceding 3 goals against some of the highest quality oppositions a game, then you should be all right. But look, there's cop 3 against Southampton.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a little side note.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Quick question: where do you reckon Nagelsmann ends up?
You have to. I was thinking I don't want him to go to Spurs because he'd just be wasted there.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. They're the only team without a manager now.
You know what, man? I could see him going back to Leipzig if Leipzig ever want him back. Because they are sitting 5th at the moment. In the Bundesliga, I want to see their last match and who they feel they lost, man, too. So they lost to Bochum, whatever that is, and his team looks pretty much quite similar to what he left it. Yeah, man. It's Andre Silva, Poulsen, Werner. Werner's playing as the left mid. Marco Rose is the manager of Leipzig at the moment.
Marco Rose, I think. Yeah.
So
if Potter gets sacked, I'd see Nagelsmann coming as an option.
Hang on, Rose was coaching the team that lost 7-0 to City too. So
true.
Nagelsmann could easily go back there to Leipzig, I think.
Yeah, I think he could. I'd see him if Potter gets sacked. He'd be an option.
Potter, I think you guys are just putting him on the radar.
Yeah.
Now, it depends on what he does at Chelsea. Okay, so if he doesn't do much if he doesn't win anything at Chelsea, I'm telling you now, his stock is just going to plummet.
Yeah, no.
Plummet.
It's always a bit more. I feel like they're always a bit more harsh on the English managers, especially the media.
I know. I think that look, at moments they're too harsh, but sometimes they're too rewarding too. They give way too much credit
true.
to Gareth Southgate. Like that guy, he should have been sacked 2 years ago, man. That's like his run in the World Cup was horrendous. That team was shit.
Yeah,
was shit. Like that England team. They played like us. I remember saying that at the start of that tournament, England will have an easy group. They'll go through, and the first opposition they come across that actually will challenge them will knock them out. And I think it was France that knocked them out.
Good question.
Fair enough.
Actually, I don't know. Yeah.
Tough team.
Yeah,
get it.
Ended up making the final.
But I don't. They ended up struggling.
Maybe that's where Potter ends up if he gets sacked.
Where?
England.
No, I don't know if people want. I don't know.
That's what people were calling for beforehand.
Wait, let me just have a look at it. Yeah, they lost to France. That was right. So 2-1. They beat Senegal without a Mane, and then Mane and struggling Senegal, and then they just 3-0, and then they lost to France 2-1. So sorry, I'm just going back to the Southgate point.
Yeah.
And English managers, they definitely get too much credit because after that. After what I just mentioned, Southgate should have been out the door. Potter coming in, I don't know. Let's see. He does know he does like playing English boys, so he has brought up a lot of English players. So let's see what happens there. I think on the England front, I think because he's been knighted, Southgate.
He has, yeah.
I think that's why they just have to like cling on to him, and that's what they do, bro. They invest to the point in these managers where they can't really write them off as like Roy Hodgson. What are you doing, bro? Still in the game? What is there? No one else that can take Palace spot?
Yeah,
I understand that.
Bro's 75 years old. I don't know.
I don't get it, bro. The last the last two oldest managers was himself to take over a club, and it was at Palace too. So it's like, what is going on there? Like, why is there so much? Why do you feel like these clubs just always like venture towards, the same old managers when they could be looking at like I think who's that French team? I think Gilloise or something, where that boy from dude from England learned French, after the fact that he killed it on Football Manager. The Football Manager. He killed in Football Manager, and then ended up going for his licenses. He doesn't even have a pro license yet. That French team is still paying fines every game that he's managing because he doesn't have that license. Yeah. And they're still doing pretty well. He won his first 16. No, he didn't lose in his first 16, 17 games, and they lost to the hands of I think it was Marseille through an Alexis Sanchez free kick or something.
Yeah. I didn't actually know where you were going with that, but I got it.
So what I'm trying to say is like take a fucking chance. Like Patrick Vieira. Anyway, I know we're talking about.
I thought Patrick Vieira should have stayed. By the way,
fucking stayed. Bro.
Yeah, he should have stayed.
Why on earth? Like I get it. They didn't get a lot out of their forwards, but why didn't? Didn't make sense to me.
Nah, yeah,
didn't make sense to me at all. So that's sorry. I know we went off into we brought it back. But